Resident Evil 9, my most anticipated game of 2026. Of course, as everyone else, I'm also looking forward to GTA 6, but as a longtime fan of Resident Evil, that franchise always held a special place in my heart. And we got some news from the game, we got some gameplay demo, and as with the first trailer, when I shared my opinions and thoughts that are 100% correct, because I'm a genius when it comes to these games, and I'm a genius in general. So I'm going to share what I think of the new footage, what I noticed, what I basically what I had taken from it, my predictions for the game are. And right from the get-go, one of the highlights of the gameplay demo is the monster, obviously, that is chasing you around. Previously, one of the theories has been that this might be Lisa Trevor from Resident Evil 1 remake, and I gotta say the two look almost similar. I mean, it's been almost 30 years since 1998 where Resident Evil 1 takes place. We can see that the new monster is also like hunched over, it's very humanoid, it's a female monster. It doesn't look exactly like Lisa Trevor, but it's been 28 years, so maybe Lisa in her monster state, maybe she aged up, maybe like they tweak the design for the RE engine. I'm going to say though, I do not think it's Lisa Trevor. I think that'd be way out there. I do not really see a reason why Lisa Trevor would be brought back other than like fan service. And the whole theme of like motherhood, which I assume is going to be a big theme in Resident Evil 9, since Resident Evil 7 had like the theme of childhood with Evelyn being the main villain, and Village had a theme of fatherhood with Ethan. So I think it'd like be a nice full circle to have Resident Evil 9 have this theme of motherhood, and obviously Grace is going to be solving the murder of her mother Elisa, who was in Outbreak, so I think there's some merit to it, which I'm gonna say, even if this creature is not Lisa Trevor, I think this is going to be like a very Lisa Trevor-esque creature. From gameplay perspective, this creature seems to be sensitive towards light, which I guess is going to be the main feature of the saving rooms. As in Resident Evil 2 and other Resident Evil games, the main stalker enemy cannot enter the saving rooms, which we can see, for example, with Mr. X when he just peeks inside. And it looks kind of funny. Here they are giving it a lore reason, which, you know, it's a good thing. It makes sense, I guess. It also seems like when the creature finds you where you're hiding, for example, under a table, the creature is going to be able to destroy the hiding place, so you cannot use it anymore, which looks kind of interesting. I'm wondering if this is going to be exclusive for the hardest difficulty, or if this is going to be a feature on all the difficulties. Next to Grace we see some notes, marked progress notes, which I'm assuming the person who wrote these notes was tracking a progress of some virus in someone's body, probably Grace's. And from what it looks like, the first note says begin wood extraction. I'm not sure what does wood mean. Could have some deeper connection to the overall lore of the game. For example, like Resident Evil 7 and 8 had like mold. Maybe Grace is going to turn into Mokujin from Tekken. What also crossed my mind is that Grace seems to be wounded on her like chest and shoulder area. We can see that she has bandage under her shirt. Maybe she was just like impaled on a branch in a car crash or whatever, but I do not think that's the case, because I think having her tied to like an operation table in this facility, what looks like a lab, upside down, I do not really think you need to do all that to remove the branch she impaled herself with. I think the setting is just way too convoluted for it to be so stupidly simple. Then again, I might be blind and it might not even say wood. But yeah, that's that. Now in the actual playing section of the game, the whole setting, the whole area where this all takes place is very strange. We can see like logged metal grates, but other than that, the place looks like a giant mansion almost. I'm gonna be honest with you, it looks like a place a Raccoon City architect would build. It has like the combination of like mechanical logs, you know, metal grates and all that stuff, with a very standard, old looking, almost house-like, very cozy architecture. We could see For example, in the RPD, where the place was a police station, but it used to be a museum before, so it all had all like the old statues and everything. Now, I'm not implying this takes place in Raccoon City, because Raccoon City was destroyed, and even though it seems to be present in the game, I do not think this section is in Raccoon City. It might be close, but not directly in. One of the first things you can find in this demo is an empty ink ribbon, which you might write this off as, you know, just a fun little reference. Ink ribbons, that's what you used to save in back in the day. I don't know why, but this inclusion seems very eerie to me. It's almost scaring me, to be honest. Actually, I know why, because it seems to me they're including this as sort of a goodbye to the way things were, like a reference to how far the franchise has come. And there were all of these theories of how Leon is going to die, or one of the main characters is going to die. And I did not initially believe it all that much, and I still do not really believe it. But damn, you might look out for that broken ink ribbon. Very eerie reference.
Eerie. Really eerie.
But back to the setting, it almost looks like it's taking place in some sort of psychiatric ward, or like a care center of some sort, maybe perhaps a medical facility. And I guess that would make sense, as I assume Grace has probably witnessed the death of her mother in the hands of the hooded figure, which probably messed her up just a little bit. Makes sense for her to be hospitalized. But it brings the question, when does this demo take place? We've seen with Resident Evil 7 and Village demos that took place before the actual game. With 7 it was a demo with a camera crew, and with Village it was the Maiden demo. Is Requiem going to do the same? Honestly, I think it would make sense simply for the pacing of the game, because I do not see how this would fit overall in the game, unless it happens in like the very beginning as like a flashback or something, and there's going to be a time skip for when Grace is already working for the FBI. The main reason I do not think this would take place in the past is the main monster, because the main monster, the design and everything, it's honestly interesting, it's very terrifying. It's one of the scariest like stalker enemies in the franchise, and that's just from the trailer, from like the demonstration, from like the demo. I think wasting that just for like a flashback sequence would not be the best course of action they can take, unless the monster is also going to appear in the present day, which again I'm assuming that's the case. Grace in this scene also says, "What did he do to me?" So this is probably about the hooded figure that killed her mother. Could be someone completely different as well, but my bet is she is referring to the hooded figure in this scene, which further supports the theory that Grace is being experimented on because she's somehow special. Also, something to keep in mind as well is that the monster and the sequence also appeared in the first trailer, which I think putting something into the first trailer that's only going to be in the demo and not in the actual game is also not the best course of action, and I don't think it ever happened before in the franchise. On the other hand, again, and that's like the third hand by now, I think having a demo where the thing that happens in the demo is not in the actual game like it was with Village and Resident Evil 7, where it was like a prequel demo, is a really good idea. I think it's a great concept, and it makes actually people want to play the demo, so yeah, I think they should definitely do that. Initially I even speculated that the demo might feature Elisa as the playable character, which I think would be great. It does not seem to be the case, which is a shame, because, you know, Elisa was a character in Outbreak and people remember that game fondly. I never really had any relationship to it. But having Elisa as a playable character one last time before she dies, because that's what seems to be happening in this game, would be a nice send-off, a nice throwback, and, you know, just an overall nice thing to have. Next thing I'd like to point out are the herbs. Obviously the herbs have always been a big part of Resident Evil. They're the main healing items. In Resident Evil 7 and Village you sort of make these first aid meds, which actually have a lore reason behind them. As it turns out, it's like an advanced medicine that speeds up regeneration for like the mold creatures, which is why Ethan was able to use them to reattach his limbs, and probably the members of the Baker family were also able to use them, and it's also why Rose is able to use them, because she probably has some like mold DNA or something in her because she's the daughter of Ethan. And it's all weird. In Resident Evil Requiem you also use this like med injector. I'm not really sure if this is going to have some deeper lore reason behind it, if Grace is somehow in a similar situation to Ethan and Grace. In my previous video I theorized that Grace might be the clone of Elisa, which I am not going to backtrack on this because there is some merit to this theory, like trust me. And go watch that video, it's like 100% accurate to what's going to happen in Resident Evil Requiem. Because like look at Grace's hair when she falls over from like the bed. Her hair is in the perfect condition. She even has it like tucked behind her ear on her left side. Do you think that this is a coincidence? How is her hair in a perfect condition? There has to be something going on behind this, because goddamn, what like conditioner does she use? Anyway, the inventory space seems to be very Resident Evil 7 like. It's very limited. It's not like in the village or in Resident Evil 4 remake. Grace also uses lighter to, you know, to see in the dark, which I think may be another indication or a reference to Leon, because Leon had a lighter in the original Resident Evil 2 as his like item. Like Claire had lockpick and Leon had a lighter. I think Chris had also a lighter in the original Resident Evil 1, but I do think this is more like a Leon reference. I do not really like the lighter mechanics. I never really like when you need to use like a lighter or a fire source for like lighting your path in video games. I prefer just a normal flashlight. But this is probably going to be just in the beginning of the game. Anyway, I'm really looking forward to Resident Evil 9. I can't wait until February. I'm quite literally shitting my pants with excitement right as we speak. Let me know down in the comments your theories, your thoughts about the game, what you think is going to happen in the game, and I'll make sure to read it and reply. Stay safe out there, and hopefully I will see you next time.